The world was quiet when the summoning began. Not peaceful, but tired. The kind of silence that comes after too many wars and too many broken promises. In a forgotten land, deep inside ruined stone walls, a single human stood inside an ancient circle carved into the ground. The symbols were old, older than history, and most people believed they were only myths. But this human knew they were real. He did not rush. He did not chant loudly. His voice was calm, steady, and sure. As the final word left his lips, the air around the circle changed. The ground trembled softly, like it was breathing. Blue light appeared between the cracks of the stone, rising slowly like smoke. Far beyond this world, in a realm where fear had no meaning, something heard the call. She was a demon goddess. One of the oldest. One of the most feared. She ruled over countless realms and had destroyed stars without regret. Humans were insects to her. Toys at best. Food at worst. She normally ignored their prayers, but this summoning felt different. It was clean. Controlled. Confident. Curiosity pulled her toward it. The blue light exploded upward, and the space above the circle tore open. Magic poured out like a storm. From within it, she emerged. Tall. Powerful. Beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Her skin glowed with an unnatural blue light, and her eyes burned like living fire. Horns curved from her head, and her presence alone crushed the air around her. The demon goddess looked down, expecting screams. There were none. The human stood still. His clothes were simple. His body was strong, but not enhanced by magic. His heart beat steady. He looked at her the way someone looks at a storm from a safe place. With respect, but without fear. That alone amused her. So, she said, her voice deep and smooth, echoing through the ruins, a human dares to call me. She waited for him to fall to his knees. He did not. She smiled slowly. Interesting. She raised her hand, and the power around them grew heavier. Any normal human would have collapsed instantly. But he stayed standing. His feet pressed into the stone. His breath remained calm. You know the rules, she said. You summoned me correctly. I will grant you 3 wishes. Her smile grew wider. No limits. No tricks. True wishes. This was her favorite part. Humans always revealed themselves here. Gold. Power. Revenge. Immortality. She had heard it all before. Choose carefully, she added, enjoying the moment. Most waste the first wish. The human finally spoke. I understand. His voice was plain. Not proud. Not weak. That surprised her more than his silence. She leaned closer, eyes glowing brighter. Then speak your first wish. For a brief moment, the wind stopped. The blue light froze in place, like the world itself was holding its breath. The human lifted his head slightly and said his wish. The demon goddess froze. Her smile vanished. The air cracked with a sharp sound, like glass breaking. The summoning circle flared violently, symbols burning brighter than ever before. The ground shook harder now, and distant thunder rolled across the sky. She did not speak. Her eyes widened just a little. Her fingers curled slowly at her side. This was not part of the game. This was not something a human should even think of asking. The human watched her reaction closely. He did not move. He did not repeat the wish. He waited. For the first time in countless ages, the demon goddess did not answer immediately. Inside her mind, ancient laws awakened. Rules older than her own existence stirred. The wish had touched something forbidden. Something gods avoided for a reason. Around them, unseen forces began to watch. Beings that had not cared about humanity for thousands of years turned their attention back to this small world. The goddess felt it. She straightened slowly, her power still shaking the ruins, but her confidence was gone. Not broken. Just cracked. You, she said at last, her voice quieter, sharper, are not what I expected. The human met her gaze. Neither are you. Silence fell again. The demon goddess realized something she had never felt before. This summoning was not a mistake. It was not an accident. It was a challenge. And for the first time in her endless life, she was no longer sure who held the power in the circle. The demon goddess remained silent longer than the human expected. Power still rolled from her body, but it was no longer wild. It was controlled, restrained, like a storm locked behind a wall. Her eyes stayed on him, searching, measuring, trying to understand what kind of being stood before her. Humans were simple. Fragile. Predictable. This one was not. You asked for something dangerous, she finally said. Her voice was calm again, but something beneath it had changed. Do you know what your first wish means? Yes, the human replied. Do you understand what it touches? She pressed. I do. That answer unsettled her more than anger would have. She turned away from him and looked at the burning symbols around the circle. The ancient magic was still active. It had accepted the wish. That was the problem. Once accepted, even a demon goddess could not undo it. You did not ask for strength, she said slowly. You did not ask for life without end. You did not even ask to rule others. She faced him again. You asked for truth. The word felt heavy in the air. Truth was not forbidden because it was weak. It was forbidden because it was sharp. It cut through lies, stories, and divine excuses. Gods ruled because they controlled knowledge. Humans were kept small because they were kept blind. The wish demanded that the truth about gods, realms, and humanity be revealed when it mattered most. The demon goddess clenched her jaw. You realize, she said, that this truth will hurt your kind as much as it helps them. The human nodded. Pain is part of growth. That answer echoed strangely in her mind. Gods avoided pain. They feared it. Humans accepted it. She laughed softly, though there was no humor in it. You are a strange one. The magic circle pulsed again, reacting to her hesitation. Ancient rules whispered their warning. She could delay, but not deny. Far away, across unseen dimensions, old watchers stirred. Beings older than stars felt something shift. Not a weapon. Not a war. A change. The demon goddess felt their attention like eyes on her back. Very well, she said at last. Your first wish stands. As she spoke the words, something unseen moved through the fabric of reality. Not all at once. Slowly. Carefully. Like a door being unlocked. The human felt it, too. A pressure behind his thoughts. A sense of awareness expanding. He did not suddenly know everything, but he knew that when lies were used to chain humanity, they would no longer hold forever. The goddess studied him. Most would be trembling by now. I am, he said honestly. Just not on the outside. That honesty disarmed her more than bravery. She lifted her hand, and the image around them shifted. The ruins faded. The forest vanished. They stood above a vision of worlds burning, cities falling, and gods watching without emotion. This, she said, is what gods do when balance is threatened. The human watched carefully. He did not look away. And this, she continued, showing humans rebuilding, surviving, adapting without help, is what your kind does when abandoned. He smiled faintly. Not with pride. With recognition. You think gods protect order, he said. But you protect comfort. Her eyes narrowed. No human had ever spoken to her that way. You risk much with your second and third wishes, she warned. Others will try to stop you. I know. Some may try to kill you. They already have. That answer made her pause. She lowered her hand, ending the vision. The ruins returned, broken stone glowing blue around them. For the first time, she saw the human not as an insect, but as a survivor shaped by a cruel world. You still have 2 wishes, she said. Choose them wisely. He looked up at her. I will. As the summoning energy began to settle, the demon goddess felt something unfamiliar settle inside her as well. Doubt. For the first time, she wondered if granting this human 3 wishes had not been an act of power, but the beginning of something she could no longer control. And somewhere in the dark beyond worlds, other gods began to notice that humanity was no longer as quiet as it once was. The summoning circle dimmed, but it did not fade away. Its symbols still glowed softly, like watchful eyes carved into stone. The demon goddess remained within the circle, though she no longer towered over the human as before. Her presence was still immense, but now it felt focused, almost cautious. You interest me, she said at last. That is dangerous for both of us. The human did not reply immediately. He studied the circle, the glowing runes, and the cracks in the stone. This place had been built to contain gods, not welcome them. He knew that much from the truth already settling into his mind. Danger is not new to humans, he said. We grow inside it. The demon goddess turned her head slightly. And gods avoid it. We control it. She waved her hand, and the world shifted again. This time, she did not show destruction. She showed moments. A starving village ignored by heaven. A city praying while a god slept. A child looking to the sky and hearing nothing in return. These are not mistakes, she said coldly. They are choices. The human clenched his fists, but he did not shout. He had lived in such moments. Seen them. Endured them. You call that balance, he said. We call it abandonment. Her eyes flashed, but she did not deny it. You believe your kind deserves more, she said. No, the human replied. We believe we deserve the truth. That word again. The demon goddess felt its weight press against her thoughts. Truth stripped power from lies. It forced responsibility. Gods hated responsibility. You think knowledge will free your people, she said. It may only show them how small they are. Size has never stopped us, he answered. We build, we adapt, we endure. Even when the universe tells us we should not exist. Something shifted inside her. A memory surfaced. Long ago, before she became what she was, she too had struggled to survive in a cruel cosmos. She had forgotten that feeling. She looked at the human more closely now. He was tired. Not physically, but in the way only a long fight could cause. A tiredness no magic could erase. Why did you summon me? She asked suddenly. Not the wish. The reason. He met her gaze. Because you would answer. That answer was simple. Honest. And frightening. She laughed quietly. Yes. I would. The circle flared faintly as unseen forces shifted again. Across distant realms, whispers spread. A demon goddess was spending too much time with a human. That alone was cause for concern. You have 2 wishes left, she said. The next one will not go unnoticed. I know, he replied. She moved closer, lowering herself until they were nearly eye level. The air between them shimmered with restrained power. Other gods will interfere, she warned. They will test you. Break you. They will try to prove you are nothing. Let them try. She studied his face for signs of arrogance. There were none. Only resolve. You are not asking for salvation, she said slowly. You are preparing for a future where gods no longer decide everything. Yes. The clarity of his answer left no room for doubt. For the first time, the demon goddess felt something dangerous grow within her. Not fear. Not anger. Respect. She straightened and raised her hand. The summoning circle stabilized completely, locking itself into a permanent state. This was no longer a temporary ritual. You may leave this place alive, she said. Many would not allow that. Thank you. She paused. No one had ever thanked her without fear behind it. Do not thank me yet, she replied. You still have a second wish. As the human stepped back from the circle, the goddess looked up at the dark sky beyond the ruins. She could feel it now. The attention. The pressure of other divine minds turning toward this world. They were watching. Humanity had taken its first step without bowing. And the demon goddess, once amused, now realized she was standing at the edge of a future where even gods might be forced to listen. The night felt heavier after the human stepped away from the circle. The forest around the ruins was silent again, but not empty. Something unseen had arrived. The demon goddess felt it clearly now. Other gods were watching. They did not yet interfere, but their presence pressed against reality like a closing fist. You waited a long time to speak your second wish, she said. That means it matters. The human stood with his hands at his sides. He was not relaxed, but he was ready. The truth from the first wish had already begun to settle inside him. He could sense lies now. Not hear thoughts, not see futures, but feel when power tried to hide behind false stories. Yes, he said. It matters. The demon goddess circled him slowly. Each step made the stone beneath her feet hum with energy. Before you speak, she warned, understand this. Your next wish will echo far beyond this world. You will not be able to take it back. I do not want to, he replied. That calm answer sent a ripple through the unseen watchers. She stopped in front of him. Then speak. The human took a breath. This time, the air did not freeze. It listened. I wish, he said, that humanity can no longer be erased quietly. The words were simple. Too simple. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the circle exploded with light. Not violent. Not destructive. Expanding. The ruins shook as if the world itself had shifted its weight. Across the sky, unseen lines flared and vanished. In distant realms, ancient alarms awakened. Gods who had slept through ages suddenly opened their eyes. The demon goddess staggered back half a step. Do you know what you have done? She demanded. Yes, the human said. His wish did not give humans power over gods. It did something far more dangerous. It changed the rules of neglect. Humanity could still suffer. Still lose wars. Still face disaster. But never again in silence. Every attempt to wipe them out, every hidden manipulation, every quiet destruction would now be seen. Known. Recorded in the fabric of reality itself. No more shadows. No more forgetting. Gods depended on forgetting. Other divine voices flooded the space between realms. Stop this. Undo it. You will break the balance. The demon goddess clenched her fists. The rules answered her back. The wish was sealed. It is done, she said through clenched teeth. The human felt the shift immediately. Not strength. Awareness. Somewhere, someone was looking at humanity again. Not as a toy. Not as background noise. As a presence. You have made us visible, she said. They will hate you for this. They already ignored us, he replied. This is better. The voices grew louder, angrier. One broke through. Demon goddess, it said, cold and sharp. You have overstepped. She straightened, her power flaring defensively. I followed the rules. You followed a human. The insult was clear. The human looked up at her. Are they going to stop us? She hesitated. Then she smiled, slow and dangerous. They can try. The pressure increased. The forest bent. The ruins cracked further. Somewhere far away, entire civilizations felt the change but did not yet understand it. You have one wish left, she said quietly. And after this one, there will be no turning back. I know, the human replied. For the first time, she believed him completely. The demon goddess looked at the night sky again. She could see the paths of attention now. God's repositioning. Watching Earth with concern instead of boredom. Humanity had stepped into the light. She felt something unexpected tighten in her chest. Pride, perhaps. Or curiosity taken too far. You are forcing us to acknowledge your kind, she said. That has never ended well. Neither has being ignored, he answered. Silence fell again, but it was not empty this time. It was tense. Loaded. The second wish had not made humanity powerful. It had made them impossible to erase. And every god watching now understood that the third wish, whatever it was, would decide the future not just of humans, but of the gods themselves. The sky above the ruins darkened, even though there were no clouds. The darkness came from pressure, not weather. The demon goddess felt it pressing against her like a rising tide. The watchers were no longer hiding. Their attention gathered, heavy and hostile. You have drawn them all, she said to the human. They will not stay silent now. They never stayed silent when it mattered, he replied. The space around them began to bend. Shadows stretched in unnatural ways, and the air vibrated with distant voices arguing across dimensions. Shapes tried to form at the edge of reality, failing and reforming again. Gods were pushing against the boundary, trying to appear without breaking the laws that still bound them. A voice cut through the noise, deep and commanding. This has gone far enough. The demon goddess turned toward it. A figure formed from light and pressure, vast and blinding, its shape barely contained by the world. It did not fully arrive, but its presence alone crushed the ground beneath the ruins. You should not have answered the summoning, the voice said. You should not have granted the wishes. The demon goddess crossed her arms. I followed the ancient contract. A god who fears rules should not speak of balance. Another presence joined, colder, sharper. This human threatens the order we built. The human looked at the forming shapes. He felt their weight, their arrogance, their certainty that everything existed for their convenience. You built comfort, he said calmly. Not order. The voices reacted instantly. How dare you speak? You exist because we allow it. The demon goddess raised her hand, and the pressure eased slightly. Enough. He speaks because you never listened. The gods turned their attention to her now. You defend him, one said. Why? She hesitated. Because he is human. Because he is brave. Because he is useful. None of those answers felt true. Because he is right, she said at last. That stunned them. For the first time, divine unity cracked. Some gods raged, demanding punishment. Others watched silently, uncertain. They had ruled unchallenged for so long that challenge itself felt like a threat. The human felt something shift again. Not in power, but in alignment. Gods were choosing sides. You still have one wish, the demon goddess said quietly to him. They want you stopped before you use it. I can tell, he said. The light-formed god spoke again. Make no further wishes. Walk away. We will forget this happened. The human laughed softly. Not in mockery, but disbelief. You already cannot forget. The demon goddess smiled at that. You are afraid, the human continued. Not of me. Of what happens if humans stop asking permission. Silence followed. That was the truth they feared most. The gods did not need worship to survive. They needed obedience. Predictability. Humanity had just become unpredictable. Your third wish, the demon goddess whispered, will either save your kind, or place a target on it forever. It already has a target, he said. At least now it can see who is aiming. The pressure intensified. One god pushed forward harder than the others, forcing reality to scream in protest. We will not allow this, it thundered. The demon goddess stepped between that presence and the human. Her power flared, dark and ancient. You will follow the rules, or you will expose yourselves. The threat was real. Gods feared exposure more than defeat. For a moment, no one moved. Then the pressure eased slightly. The gods retreated just enough to watch instead of act. They will wait, she said. They believe time is still on their side. They always do, the human replied. The demon goddess looked at him, truly looked at him, and realized something dangerous. Humanity had survived not because of gods, but despite them. You are not asking to replace us, she said. No, he agreed. I am asking you to stop deciding our fate alone. The sky remained dark, but it no longer pressed downward. Instead, it watched. The demon goddess felt the edge of the future sharpen around them. One final wish remained. And every god in existence understood that when it was spoken, the age of quiet rule would end forever. The ruins stood silent as the watching gods pulled back, hiding just beyond the edge of the world. The night felt stretched, thin, as if reality itself waited for the next breath. The demon goddess stood between the human and the dark sky, her power calm but ready. This was the last moment before choice became fate. You may speak your final wish, she said. The human did not answer right away. He looked at the broken stones, the glowing runes, the forest that had survived fire and neglect. He thought of people who lived and died without ever knowing why their prayers went unanswered. He thought of children who learned early that hope was something you carried yourself. When he looked up again, his voice was steady. I wish, he said, that humanity will choose its own future. The words were simple. They were everything. For a heartbeat, nothing moved. No light. No thunder. The gods waited, ready to tear the moment apart if it gave them reason. The demon goddess felt the rules tighten around her like chains. Be clear, she said softly. This wish cannot be undone. I know, the human replied. That is why it matters. The magic answered. Not with force, but with release. The circle did not explode. It faded, its symbols dimming as if their purpose had been fulfilled. A deep hum passed through the world, gentle but unstoppable, like a river changing course. Across Earth, something shifted. Not in bodies, not in weapons, not in strength. In permission. The quiet pressure that had always guided humanity's path loosened and broke. Fate, once nudged by unseen hands, let go. The demon goddess felt it clearly. For the first time, gods could not quietly adjust outcomes. They could still act, still influence, still challenge. But no longer from the shadows. Humanity would move forward by choice, not allowance. The watching gods erupted in outrage. You have broken the order. You have freed them. This will bring chaos. The demon goddess turned toward the sky. Order built on silence deserves to fall. She looked back at the human. You did not ask for power. He shook his head. We make our own. The gods withdrew further, their voices fading into bitter whispers. They had lost the one thing they depended on most. Control without responsibility. The forest breathed again. The ruins felt lighter. Somewhere far away, a scientist paused at a desk, feeling a strange clarity. A leader hesitated before giving an order, sensing it was truly his choice. A child looked at the stars and felt no invisible hand pulling their dreams down. The demon goddess lowered her hand. Her power receded, no longer pressing against the world. She felt older, changed. "It is done," she said. The human let out a slow breath. For the first time since the summoning, his shoulders relaxed. He did not smile in victory. He smiled in relief. "What will happen to you?" he asked. She considered the question. "I will be watched. Questioned. Blamed. Are you afraid?" She smiled, small and honest. "I am curious." She stepped back, her form already beginning to fade, returning to a realm where gods argued and planned and worried. Before she vanished completely, she looked at him one last time. "Humans," she said, "are dangerous." He nodded. "Only when cornered." The blue light dissolved. The circle vanished. The ruins returned to shadow and moss and memory. The human stood alone. But he was not alone. Above the world, no gods ruled in silence anymore. Below it, humanity moved forward without asking permission. They would fail, learn, rebuild, and try again. Not because a god allowed it. Because they chose it. And far beyond the stars, the demon goddess watched a small, stubborn species rise, not as gods, but as something the universe had learned to respect.